survive. And there are ways of dealing with enzyme inhibitors, because there's been some discussion about nuts and seeds, beans and grains all contain factors that inhibit their digestion to perhaps keep the bugs and the animals from eating them before their time, and even perhaps to keep them from sprouting in the bulk bins at the natural food store. And that's why as a raw foodist you learn to soak your nuts and seeds. But I do know that we sprout sunflower seeds in a tray of dirt on the stove, and the squirrels will come in the house to steal those seeds if we don't shoo them out or keep the door closed. There certainly are animals that are more like us. I don't believe that we're designed to be grass eaters or simply, chewing things that require regurgitation, but we are perhaps more like the chimpanzee or the gorilla, who are indeed raw foodists. I remember years ago being in a hot tub with Michael Tierra in Brighton Bush, and someone came up to us and said, "What do you think about an all raw foods diet?" And he said, "You show me a culture that's lived off of raw foods for several generations, and then we'll talk." And I remember thinking, well, that's it. That's the answer. No culture has really done it. However, I have learned that many of the animals have done it, the ones that are most like us. And the animals that eat raw food, whether it be cooked by their stomach or processed in some way or chewed very well, they're the ones that don't need to go to the vets. Instead, our culture is looking for more medical care. What's the next best herb? We're building bigger and bigger hospitals. And if we look at the state of health on our planet, disease is rampant. Why are people having such high rates of cancer, arthritis, obesity? Just a few weeks ago, the cover of Time magazine was about how inflammation was at the root of so many diseases. And working in a holistic pharmacy, I know that when people have inflammation, they come into the health food store and they're told, you need enzymes. We have bromelain, papain. There's all kinds of enzymes that can help reduce the inflammation. But what about if we just eat a diet that's rich in enzymes? Also, in Chinese medicine, there's so much concern about stuck qi, and people go and get acupuncture and they take herbs to move their stuck qi. Why is the qi getting so stuck? I feel that something is amiss in our culture, that we're having to spend so much time healing ourselves. What if we just had good health? Now, there's not going to be a lot of profit in researching raw food. Grocery items in the produce section have the lowest markup of any other product. There's going to be a lot more research done on vitamins and often it's not even just herbs. It's a herb with a secret formula to extract the active ingredients, which I know you and I are both in the same camp about. But I also feel that eating raw foods, we're also imbibing solar energy, and we're imbibing color. And one of the things that would be wonderful to be liberated from is spending so much time cooking and using so many of our planet's resources. I certainly see that cooking food has served humankind for perhaps 1 million years, that it was a way to gather around the campfire. But now when we're concerned about drought and deforestation, it seems that we need to look at other ways that can sustain our planet. And indeed, when we cook food, we know that we destroy vitamin C, that many of the B vitamins and even many of the water-soluble vitamins, vitamin A and D and E, are also decimated by heat. And even minerals, even though minerals are a lot more sturdy than vitamins, when we smell the goodness of food cooking, it's because a lot of those minerals are going into the environment. Like, that smells so wonderful. Raw food is not good for business. It's not good for restaurant business. It's not good for selling a lot of products. But I am finding in my own family, in my own network of people, that dealing with health issues that have been very difficult to treat, and I had always been looking for what is the right herb instead of the right drug. Now I'm feeling that raw foods is bringing health benefits about that I was in quest of for many of my 30-some years of studying natural medicine. I also feel that we also can cook our food in many ways, and you actually pointed this out to me, Susan, that you can help make food be more digestible by pureeing, by blending, by marinating, by adding lemon juice, oil, and salt. And yet, I know that one of the things I love to make are flax crackers, and I make them in the dehydrator, which preserves the enzymes, because the dehydrator heats the food only to under 100, really under 100 degrees, whereas enzymes are believed to start being destroyed at 114. And I threw one of those flax crackers out into the yard, and it sprouted into hundreds of plants. And I know that there's concern like, well, maybe you won't digest the flax crackers, but those seeds have been soaked, and the mucilage, the mucilage from those seeds has come out, and that's what enables the crackers to be held together. And so I feel that cooking food has certainly served humanity, but that we need to think about the future and looking around at all of the health concerns that people have and the despair that people have and obesity in children. I'm finding that raw foods is good for people, good for the planet, and it makes you feel incredibly happy. And perhaps we would need less medicine, whether it be herbal or allopathic, if we were to pay attention to food first. Thank you.
Excellent, perfectly timed. You made my job easy there. Thank you. Okay, so now, my favorite part, we're going to move to the formal rebuttal. So, Ms. Weed. Let's hear it.
Okay. Nutritional element, vitamin A, soluble in water, no. All right, stable with heat. So vitamin A, as a matter of fact, is maximized by heat. The more that the plant is cooked, the more vitamin A we will get out of it. In a recent study talked about in Environmental Nutrition, a newsletter I highly recommend, they took a group of people and fed them on one day in the lab raw carrots and measured the amount of antioxidant vitamins in their blood. And then on another day, they fed them cooked carrots and measured the amount of antioxidant vitamins in their blood. There were 10 times more antioxidant vitamins in their blood after eating the cooked carrots than after eating the raw carrots. Vitamin D is not soluble in water and is completely stable to heat. Vitamin E is not soluble in water and cannot be harmed by exposure to heat. Vitamin K is not soluble in water and is not harmed by exposure to heat. Thiamine is soluble in water, but it is destroyed at temperatures of 100 degrees and higher. So dehydrating a grain at 100 degrees will destroy the thiamine just as if you cooked the grain. Riboflavin is slightly soluble in water and is not in any way affected by heat. Niacin is soluble in water but is not at all affected by heat. Biotin is a little bit soluble in water, is totally unaffected by heat. Folate is soluble in water and can be destroyed only at extreme temperatures in which you have boiled something for a very, very long time. Even vitamin B12 is not sensitive to heat and cannot be destroyed by heat. The only vitamin that really can be harmed by heat is vitamin C, but what else harms vitamin C? Water, air, light, time, and heat. The fact of the matter is, by the time you've gotten the food to cook it, there's probably no vitamin C left in it at all. I thought this was a very interesting chart because it compared both the raw foods and the cooked foods. For instance, raw carrots contain 27 milligrams of calcium. Cooked carrots contain 31 milligrams of calcium. A raw carrot contains 35 milligrams of, somebody help me out here, what's NA?
NA?
NA. Sodium. Okay. The cooked carrot has more. Zinc. The raw carrot has 0.2 of a milligram. The cooked carrot has 0.3 of a milligram. In other words, 50% more. You go right down any chart that's done where you can compare the raw and the cooked, and you will see more nutrition from cooked food. Plus, remember, you are going to absorb 10 times more nutrition from your cooked food. As a matter of fact,